What if everything you ever wanted, success, wealth, admiration, still left you feeling empty? What if happiness wasn't something you could chase, but something hidden in plain sight? One man set out on a journey to find the answer, but what he discovered was not what he expected. Imagine dedicating your entire life to achieving your dreams. You climb the ladder of success, accumulate wealth, and earn the admiration of others. Yet, despite all of this, a deep emptiness lingers within you, a void no amount of achievement can fill. This is the story of Ethan, a man who had it all, but felt nothing. For years, he searched for happiness in all the wrong places, chasing external validation and material success. But no matter how much he achieved, the feeling of fulfillment always eluded him. Then, one fateful evening, he stumbled upon an old journal that spoke of a legendary monk living high in the mountains. This monk, it was said, held the secret to true happiness. Desperate for answers, Ethan left everything behind and embarked on a treacherous journey to find him. Now, standing before the ancient temple doors, exhausted and uncertain, Ethan is about to discover a truth that will challenge everything he thought he knew about happiness. If this story intrigues you, if you've ever wondered what true happiness really is, stick around, because the monk's answer might surprise you. And if you're ready to explore more transformative stories like this, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. That way, you'll never miss a lesson that could change the way you see the world. Oh, and if you're enjoying this story so far, leave a like. It's a small way to show your support and help others discover this content too. Now, let's step inside the temple and uncover the monk's surprising answer. If I told you that the reason you're not happy is because you're too full, would you believe me? That was the first thing Master Li said after Ethan stepped inside the temple. The flickering lanterns cast warm light against the wooden walls, and the air carried the scent of aged paper and burning incense. It was peaceful, yet Ethan felt restless. "What do you mean, too full?" he asked. The monk didn't answer. Instead, he gestured toward a small wooden table, picked up a teapot, and began pouring tea into an empty cup. The golden liquid rose, reaching the brim, but the monk didn't stop. The tea overflowed, spilling onto the table, dripping to the floor. "Master, stop. The cup is full." Master Li smiled, placing the teapot down. "Exactly. You are like this cup, full of expectations, full of thoughts about what happiness should be. But if you are already full, how can you receive anything new?" Ethan furrowed his brows. This wasn't the answer he had come for. He had left everything behind to find happiness, not riddles. The monk took a slow sip of his tea, then spoke again. "For the next 3 days, do not seek answers. Just observe. Just be." Ethan wanted to protest, but something in the monk's eyes silenced him. The first morning, he watched as the monks swept the stone courtyard. They moved without urgency, yet with complete presence. The second day, he saw them carrying water from the well, their movement steady, purposeful. By the third day, Ethan's patience was running thin. "I don't understand," he finally blurted. "I came here for wisdom, but all I've done is watch people sweep the floor." Master Li looked at him and smiled. "Then tell me, Ethan, do you finally see the dust?" Ethan frowned, glancing at the courtyard. The ground was spotless, yet every morning, the monks swept the same path. Not because it was dirty, but because dust always returns. It struck him like a wave. Happiness isn't something you achieve once. It's something you tend to, every single day. Master Li nodded. "Now you are beginning to understand. Most people search for happiness as if it's something they can reach and hold. But what if happiness is more like dust? Something that always returns. Something you must tend to every day. Think about it. And if you're ready to see things differently, keep watching, because the next part of this story might just change the way you see the world." Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try to control things, life always finds a way to slip through your fingers? Ethan had spent days in the monastery, but frustration was starting to creep in. He had watched the monks move through their daily routines with an unshakable sense of peace. Yet he still felt restless. "When will I finally understand happiness?" he muttered under his breath. Master Li, standing nearby, heard him and gestured toward a small wooden bridge that stretched across a gentle stream. "Come walk with me," the monk said. They crossed the bridge, the wooden planks creaking softly beneath their feet. The stream below flowed smoothly over polished stones, its surface shimmering in the morning light. Masterly stopped and turned to Ethan. "Take some water from the stream." Ethan hesitated but then kneeled by the water's edge. He dipped his hands into the cold, clear stream, scooping up as much as he could. But as soon as he tried to hold on to it, the water slipped through his fingers. No matter how tightly he gripped, it kept escaping. "Try again," the monk said. Ethan repeated the motion, closing his hands even tighter. But the result was the same. He was losing more water than he was keeping. He looked up at Masterly, frustration evident on his face. "It's impossible," the monk smiled. "And yet, if you had simply let your hands rest in the water, it would have stayed with you effortlessly." Ethan stared at him, his heart pounding as realization set in. Masterly sat on a nearby rock, watching the stream. "Most people live their lives like you just did, Ethan. They grasp at happiness, trying to hold onto it with all their might. But the tighter they squeeze, the more it slips away." Ethan lowered his hands into the water again, this time keeping them open. The stream flowed through his palms, cool and calming. He could feel it now, not as something to capture, but as something to experience. Masterly continued, his voice as steady as the current. "Happiness is like this stream. You do not capture it. You do not control it. You simply let it flow." Ethan sat still, staring at the water as if seeing it for the first time. For years, he had been trying to force happiness, believing that if he could just achieve more, own more, control more, he would finally feel whole. But happiness was never meant to be held. It was meant to be felt. Masterly stood and began walking back toward the temple. "Come, Ethan. There is one more thing you must see." Ethan followed, his heart lighter than before. How often do we try to control happiness, only to watch it slip away? Maybe, like Ethan, we need to stop chasing and start experiencing. Let that thought sit with you. And if you're ready for the final revelation, keep watching, because the next chapter will reveal the answer Ethan has been searching for. If you had to choose between something that looks valuable and something that truly sustains you, which one would you take? Masterly led Ethan into a quiet chamber within the temple. The room was dimly lit, with only a single candle flickering in the center. On a small wooden table sat two objects, a shiny golden statue and a simple wooden bowl filled with water. The monk gestured toward them. "Choose one." Ethan stepped forward, his gaze shifting between the two. The golden statue was mesmerizing, reflecting the candlelight in a way that made it seem almost alive. The wooden bowl, in contrast, was plain, unremarkable. Yet the water inside it looked crisp and pure. His instinct pushed him toward the gold. He had spent his entire life reaching for things that symbolized success. The bigger house, the higher salary, the next big achievement, always something more, something greater. His fingers hovered over the statue. But then he hesitated. He thought about the monks in the temple, content with so little, yet full of peace. He thought about the stream, the way the water flowed effortlessly when he stopped trying to hold on to it. He took a deep breath and reached for the wooden bowl instead. Masterly smiled, his expression unreadable. "Why did you choose the bowl?" Ethan looked down at it, watching as the ripples in the water slowly settled. "Because gold may shine, but it can't quench thirst." The monk let out a soft chuckle. "You are finally seeing the truth." Ethan's grip tightened around the bowl. "All my life, I've been chasing things that look valuable. But happiness isn't in what we own. It's in what truly nourishes us." Masterly nodded. True happiness is never found in possessions or achievements. It is in the quiet moments, in the simple things. It is in the water, not in the cup that holds it. Ethan sat with those words for a long time. For the first time, he felt like he wasn't just hearing them. He was understanding them. How often do we chase things that shine, only to realize they don't fulfill us? Maybe, like Ethan, we need to choose what truly nourishes us. Let that thought sink in. And if you're ready for the final revelation, stay with me, because the last chapter will reveal what happiness truly is. What if happiness was never something to find, but something you were meant to create? Ethan sat quietly in the temple's garden, the wooden bowl still in his hands. The water inside it reflected the morning sun, rippling gently with the breeze. Masterly sat beside him, watching in silence. "Tell me, Ethan, what are you thinking?" Ethan exhaled slowly. "That I've spent my whole life looking for happiness, as if it was a destination. But happiness isn't a place, it's something we cultivate, moment by moment." The monk nodded, pleased. "The world teaches us to chase, to believe that happiness is something we must earn, achieve, or discover. But in truth, happiness is not lost. It is only unseen." Ethan looked up, meeting the monk's gaze. "Then why does it feel like so many of us are missing it?" Masterly smiled. "Because we are always looking ahead, never where we are." He pointed toward the temple grounds, where the monks were going about their morning routine, sweeping, laughing, tending to the garden. They weren't searching for happiness. They were living it. Ethan followed their movements, something inside him shifting. Happiness had never been in the next promotion, the next relationship, the next milestone. It had been here, in the small moments, the ones he had been too distracted to notice. He looked down at the bowl of water, watching the ripples settle into stillness. And for the first time in his life, his mind felt just as still. Masterly stood, placing a hand on Ethan's shoulder. "Now you are ready to return home." But Ethan smiled. "I think I already am." Maybe, like Ethan, you've been searching for happiness as if it's missing. But what if it's already here, waiting for you to notice? Sit with that thought for a moment. And if this story spoke to you, don't just keep it for yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Maybe, like Ethan, you've been searching for happiness as if it's missing. But what if it's been right in front of you all along, waiting for you to slow down and notice? Happiness isn't something you find at the end of a journey. It's not a trophy to be won or a box to be checked. Instead, it's something you create in the quiet moments, in the laughter of loved ones, in the way you choose to see the world around you. So now, I ask you, what does happiness look like in your life? Is it the warmth of sunlight on your face, the satisfaction of a task completed with care, or simply the peace of being present, even in the chaos? Take a moment to reflect, and then share your answer in the comments below. Your words might inspire someone else who's still searching. If this story resonated with you, if it made you pause and think, consider leaving a like. It's a small gesture, but it helps this message reach others who might need it today. And if you're ready to explore more stories like this, ones that challenge your perspective and help you grow, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. That way, you'll never miss a lesson that could change the way you see the world. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. Until next time, remember, happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you nurture. So slow down, pay attention, and let life surprise you. See you soon.